What's it feel like to see your whole life like reflected in museum form? This
Like
is
you did.
Far from it. Just days after wrapping a 20-date stadium tour with the E Street Band, Bruce Springsteen and I sat down surrounded by the artifacts of a more than 6-decade career, much of it devoted to telling the stories of working people. We're inside the new Bruce Springsteen Center for American Music, dedicated not just to one man's career, but to the traditions that shaped it. This building houses your archives, but it's also dedicated to the broader story of American music. Why was that important to you?
I always looked at myself as a small link in a very big chain, you know. I was a guy kind of came along, you pick the flag up for a while, you run with it for a little while, you hand it to the next guy. So we wanted to make the place very inclusive.
The top floor houses Springsteen's archives, which grew out of a fan-curated collection of memorabilia that eventually outgrew its home at the Asbury Park Public Library. The bottom floor includes a gallery of artifacts from across the history of American music.
This is where we tell the story of American music in a condensed form.
Bob Santelli is the center's executive director and an American music historian.
This is one of my favorite cases here because of the power of the artifacts. That's Louis Armstrong's trumpet. That's Dizzy Gillespie's trumpet. John Coltrane's saxophone in Ella Fitzgerald's concert dress. We had to figure out how to encompass the story of American music in a rather small space and yet make sure it was relevant, it was accurate, and reflective of what Bruce's music is all about.
Where does Bruce Springsteen's contribution fit in that overall narrative?
His contributions are increasingly significant. His place is right up there with all the greats, including Bob Dylan. And so what we're trying to do here is it's not a tribute to him. Most importantly, what we do is we try to uncover the creative process.
In addition to memorabilia, the center offers an intimate look at Springsteen's creative process through interactive exhibits, handwritten lyrics, and other rare materials from across his career.
He writes on $1.50 spiral-bound notebooks that you can get in any drugstore.
And handwritten lyrics to Born in the USA. That's incredible.
Yeah, and of course fans see that as kind of holy grail stuff, you know?
And there's only one word that's crossed out. It's almost as if this was like downloaded and he just wrote it all out at once. Where do you see yourself fitting in that longer narrative, that longer arc of American music?
You know, I'm just a guy that came along at this particular moment, you know, and was interested in writing about the times that I lived through, grew up in, my family's life, how that connected to America in the second half of the 20th century. And I wanted to be an artist who encompassed their times, the times that they live in, and wrote about those things.
The story's always the same.
For Springsteen, writing about his times has often meant examining the tension between America's ideals and its reality.
Once I made you rich enough to forget my name in Youngstown.
From songs like Youngstown, a lament for the hollowing out of industrial America, to American Skin, 41 Shots, his meditation on the 1999 police killing of Amadou Diallo, an unarmed immigrant in New York City. He's also been one of the country's most politically engaged musicians, lending his voice to Democratic candidates for decades, performing at campaign rallies and get-out-the-vote events. You said before that loving your country means telling the truth about it.
Sure.
How has that guided your work?
Well, I believe in critical patriotism. I believe that's the definition of a patriot, you know, that you love your country so much that you are willing to look at it clearly, recognize its faults, encourage it to be a better place, and believe that you carry in your heart the country that is waiting.
In recent years, the politics that long informed Springsteen's work has become more explicit. In January, after federal immigration authorities in Minnesota killed 2 U.S. citizens, Renee Good and Alex Preddy, Springsteen responded with a song.
Their bravery, their sacrifice, and their names will not be forgotten. This is Streets of Minneapolis.
He was very angry, and usually I write songs that have a lot of political implications, but very often are not directly political.
King Trump's private army from the DHS.
So in this case, I wrote a protest song. I thought, gee, maybe this is a little broad, you know, but then I had my buddy Tom Morello, guitarist from Rage Against the Machine, and he says, no, he says, Bruce, nuance is great, but sometimes you got to kick him in the teeth. And so that was a moment when you had to kick him in the teeth.
Remember the names of those who died on the streets of Minneapolis.
It was a song written for a moment. I wrote it, recorded it, released it in 3 days, you know. It's a song of its times.
Bruce is a synthesizer.
John Landau is Bruce Springsteen's longtime manager.
He hears everything, he reads everything, and he's got some internal blender, and he creates out of found material original work.
When Landau first encountered Springsteen in the 70s, he was a music critic who famously wrote, "I saw rock and roll future and its name is Bruce Springsteen." Today, the two are still collaborators, their creative and professional partnership among the longest running in modern music.
The fact that the whole first floor is dedicated to setting a context for Bruce, which keeps this from becoming idolatry. And we're telling, yes, Bruce's story, but we're telling it as part of a narrative about American music, which the concerts are intended to do.
I've been redeemed. God's gonna trouble the water.
To celebrate the opening, organizers brought together more than a dozen artists for 2 nights of performances tracing the story of American music.
Anytime you get to share the stage with Bruce, if you get asked, you better be there.
Ken Casey is the frontman for Dropkick Murphys. He says he sees Springsteen as part of a long tradition of artists who have used music to engage with the world around them.
You think about during the civil rights movement and the Vietnam War protests, like what a big role music played in those. And is music meeting the challenge now? I'm not 100% sure it is, or I'd like to see music do more.
Do protest songs, do they serve a different purpose today? Do they carry the same power, the same weight?
I don't know. I'm in the hearts and minds business. You know, you change people kind of one at a time, and I believe that culture has impact. You know, I believe that culture shapes the nation. Culture shapes our politics. So I have to, whether they do or not, I have to act as they do.
You play for audiences across the political spectrum. People who love your music might not share your politics.
Right.
How does that strike you?
That's what I like. That's fine. I like a big tent. If I'm playing up at the stadium here in Jersey, you know, and there's 50,000 people, so I don't think they're all Democrats or they're all progressives, you know, so I like playing to a big tent.
For all the reflection that comes with the opening of a career-spanning museum, Springsteen insists he's far from finished.
You could have stopped a long time ago and people would have said that that was a complete career. Why keep going? What does it cost you and what does it give you?
It's just my job and it's my pleasure. I don't even think about stopping, you know. If you created a body of work that's resonant, you know, I don't see any immediate reason to, there's never going to be an East Street farewell tour, I can tell you that.
Bells of freedom ringing.
And while the center bears his name, Bruce Springsteen hopes its focus broadens with time, placing his work within the larger continuum of American music.
I feel like I'm simply a link in a big chain, you know, and I would imagine as time passes, you know, all that's up here will end up in a little case along with a lot of other great, fabulous musicians. Sure.
Generations from now, if people walk through here, you want them to think that, oh, Bruce Springsteen was a link in a longer chain?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Well, I would say that and more.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
Bruce Springsteen, a real
Thank
pleasure.
you, my pleasure.
Absolutely.